So taking a look at the Chicago Bears center, Drew Dalman. This was a big-time move by the Chicago Bears. I mean, they were hot and heavy on the offensive line before free agency started, bringing in Jonah Jackson. Not that I'm real high on Jonah Jackson, but bringing in Dalman, that was a good move. Let's see how he fits with the Bears. Obviously, this information came through Mike Pendleton of Bears Wire. Now, he says, according to the Bears GM, Ryan Poles, his top priority in free agency was to acquire the now former Atlanta Falcons center Drew Dalman, who's one of the better centers in the league. Now, after acquiring both Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson in separate trades prior to free agency, the Bears went heavy after Dalman as soon as free agency kicked off on Monday. It is clear, though, that the vision for Ryan Poles and the Bears and Ben Johnson is that they've got to set Caleb Williams up for success. They have to. After last year, he took 68 sacks. He was running for his life. And even though he's regarded as a mobile, possible dual threat quarterback, I think the vision in Chicago is more or less to utilize Caleb's arm and his arm talent as opposed to him having to run the football. Otherwise, what you're going to see is just a repetitive or consistency of Justin Fields-esque offense, which I don't think that they want. They don't want another Justin Fields running around and getting banged up and getting hurt. It's just not a good recipe for success. With Jaden Daniels this last season, you could see that the emphasis or the priority was his arm. Now, they used an RPO, right? But again, that was to get the ball into the hands of a running back or a receiver, whoever they had, in the backfield. Wasn't so much to allow Jaden Daniels just to run the football. And I think the same thing is going to be utilized here for Caleb Williams, where they're going to want to go pass, versus run. They don't want him to run the ball as often as he was last season, but utilize it in spaces where he has an ability to make a big play happen when needed. So bringing in a guy like Dalman gives him an opportunity to grow with Caleb Williams. Obviously can help Caleb Williams see the field a little bit better. Dalman was a 4th-round pick out of Stanford in 2021 by the Atlanta Falcons. He's played the entirety of his career in Atlanta. So what does Dalman really bring to the Bears? Now, this is a quote by Ryan Poles where he says, his ability to reach, cut off, work in the outside zone scheme, get to the second level, as well as be a really good partner inside to the guards in pass pro. His addition is going to make the interior of our offensive line strong. So it sounds like exactly what the Lions do here. A lot of outside zone, getting our guys up to the second level. I mean, a lot of teams utilize that scheme, but I don't think it's a surprise that Ben Johnson, going to the Bears, they're going to utilize the same scheme. The question is, what running back are they going to use? And that's where I still think that the Bears are going to add Ashton Jeanty if he's still there at 10. Poles continued on highlighting the intelligence, though, of Dalman and what he possesses as a center, where he said, quote, Drew is going to be the quarterback of our offensive line. He'll be setting the protections in the run game for us, something he has done in the past. And I think that we can even put more on his plate than what he has been exposed to previously. I'm excited about that. He is still learning. He is still growing as a player. He has not hit his ceiling yet either. I mean, I guess I would agree with all that. Watching a little bit of his tape last night, Dalman, I mean, he's good. He's really good. The way that he sets, the way that he anchors, I think that this is going to be probably the biggest move for the Bears so far in free agency, is giving Caleb Williams somebody that can see the field, understands the protections, and now you're going to give him the opportunity to, like Poles says, be the quarterback of the offensive line. So he's going to be communicating with everybody else on the offensive line, which, I mean, it's typically a center's job anyway. Dalman has reportedly already asked Poles on multiple occasions what Poles saw from him on tape that Poles feels he can improve on. Dalman is teachable. He wants to win, has proven he can play at a high level, and figures to have his best football ahead of him. It's a 3-year deal. Dalman comes in at 6'3", 305 pounds. He's also 26 years old. And now that he's taking his talents to Chicago, I mean, you're seeing a relatively young second kind of contract offensive line being put together. Jonah Jackson's not old. Joe Thuney's not extremely old. So this is a young offensive line or younger offensive line that can work together, but they have experience. And I think that's the key here. So a 3-year deal makes a lot of sense here. I think that Chicago has definitely done the right thing here at free agency by making sure that Caleb Williams has what he needs to succeed here in year 2.